old was he? Like he was super like early teenager.
Yeah, it's like 14,
15. Which one does it typically open up to? That needs to be done.
Tucson, try so hard to be dangerous.
Did you actually know that one of the number one places of dangerousness?
Dangerousness?
Yes.
In Arizona.
What? Yes.
I didn't know she had a brother.
I mean, in Arizona, yeah. It's only like 3 cities in Arizona.
Well, the fact that they're more dangerous than Phoenix or Tempe or Chandler, whatever one you want to call it, because people out there, they're very specific about you calling their
area, huh?
They'd be bad.
Yeah.
They're black.
I live in Chandler. Go home, Roger.
And Chandler is 15 minutes from Tempe. Less than that, up the street though. Or Avondale, whatever that is.
Right. Darn it.
Like the people that live in that live over there in Vail, I'm like, bro, you still in Tucson. Stop. I'm from Vail. I'm like, bro, you're in Tucson. Stop. You're not nowhere. Stop. You're in Tucson.
I learned out here that people say like what area they live in because it's like classified for like the areas for who got money, who don't got money type thing.
I'm in the Catalinas. I'm like, bro, you're in Tucson, bro. Stop.
Oh no. We go ahead and let people do their differentiating because them Vail people, they like the farmers and the country folk, and us Tucson people, we don't support that. We let them be the farmers and the country folk out in Vail. Until I move out there.
And then I met and then the wannabe gangsters out here. Yeah, man, I'm from the Tuck. I'm like, what the hell is a Tuck?
It's Tucktown. It's Tucktown.
What the hell is a Tucktown? I was like, oh,
what is
bro,
that?
Stop.
It's called Tucktown.
So apparently it's Tucson, but they call it Tucktown. I'm like, bro, you're not big enough.
Look,
you're not big enough to cut your name short.
TikTok be talking about us being a dangerous city in the United States, okay? Like, come on now.
It's from all the old people?
No, that's young folk, okay? The young folk. And then when they talk about how the South Side, I was like, Lord Jesus, the South Side.
That's funny. It seems so. I finally downloaded TikTok, and I'm like obsessed. But other than that, like
you've been on it too much. I'm tired of looking. Every time I open up my app, I see you.
All right, guys. TikTok now.
Every time I open up my app, here you come. Like what? That's what I'm gonna do.
But yeah, so I see all the ones I seen have said, I want a healthy relationship, but I live in Tucson or I live in Arizona. Like, or I saw one too that was like, I want a healthy relationship and toxic sex, but I live in Arizona.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, sorry.
No, before you go further there, unless you want to just.
No, that was it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a struggle apparently. I did not know they called this place the Tuck. What?
Oh yeah, it's Tucktown.
Wow.
I saw that at that point.
They want to be somebody so bad, like
so bad. You're not big enough.
You can barely even. Black people are the 6 to 7% in Arizona, like, and y'all want to be hard.
Y'all better stop talking about my home of residence.
Look, all I'm saying is you can't shorten your name. If I can drive from one end to the other end in less than 20 minutes, you can't shorten your name. You're not big enough for that. If I'm driving from Vail all the way to the Catalinas in 20 minutes, you can't short your name. Your name's already short. There's no reason to cut 6 letters to 3. Why? From Tucson to Tuck. It doesn't like. Anyway.
So what they call in Phoenix then?
I don't know what Phoenix is. We don't live in Phoenix, okay? We live
They
in
probably call it Foe.
Tucson.
You're from Foe, man.
Nah, they don't have no fancy name for Phoenix. Phoenix is just Phoenix.
Goodness.
But like we have to say Tucktown so that way people spell it right. Because if you don't, then they'd be like Tuscon, and I'm sitting here like, do you not know how to spell?
I spelled Tucson like that for the longest, my G. be longer. But the part that kills me the most is that they still call it tuxing.
I was that person.
Yeah,
I'm from the South.
I'm like,
I don't know anything about no
When Mariah first moved down here and I came down here when she had Nala, she's like, I'm in tux. I'm like, what the hell is a tuxie? I'm like, yo, you got me flying out to the boondocks. I'm like, what is this?
Well, I didn't know it was pronounced tuxing.
Like,
even my stepmom,
Yeah, a lot of
like,
people say tuxing.
tucson.
It's hilarious.
I'm like, so is the C silent or is the S silent?
Definitely the C.
Go home. So like
the C is definitely silent.
And like one more minute. Ooh, get it. But no, I don't know why y'all over here bagging Tucson like that. I'm just saying, I'm a little salty.
So I like Tucson, but I mean, even when I was
like potato chips and potato chips like
when I was in Cali,
but that's still
Ohio, at Washington State, I never really been one like, yo man, I'm from like I never did that. so if I ain't gonna do that from Cali or Akron, I definitely ain't gonna do it from in Tucson.
Hell, right?
Yeah, man, you know I'm from Tucson. Like I live in Tucson, sir. I live in Tucson.
You better off saying I'm from Idaho. I'd rather say that before I say I'm from Tucson.
You're from Idaho?
Home of the potatoes. You're getting your French fries from me.
I love potatoes, but I don't want to be from Idaho.
I'd rather say that than Tucson. I'm like, from that tough town. What? Tough town, boy.
We're about to offend all of our viewers already.
I know, right? We barely
They're like, man, forget y'all. I just used the word Tucktown the other day.
Oh my gosh. Well, for all of our Tucktown viewers.
You that the whole night. You that the whole day.
I'm gonna throw Tucktown in the.
I'm gonna go to work on Monday and be like, "Hello, my fellow Tuxtoners."
Hello, my fellow Tuxtoners. Tuxtoners.
Yep.
Oh. Like my fellow Tuxtoners and
they probably
fellow Tuxtoners.
They're probably just gonna look at me like I'm crazy or something.
More than likely, I'm not.
In my office full of white people, they just gonna look at me like, "Wait, what? Like, isn't that how what y'all call each other?"
Like, what is this? What we've turned into now? All right, y'all. Well, you know what time it is. It's time to get it on. It's time to get it started. Manny said it's time for me to get a watch, guys. He's being so nice to me today. I wouldn't disagree, though. I probably would need a watch. So if you feel like blessing me for Christmas,
if you feel like what? If you feel like what?
I said blessing me for Christmas.
I heard blessing me.
Ew.
You feel like blessing me.
If you feel like blessing me. Over here acting foolish. All right, let's do this. And let's go.
Why my little thing like extra creepy?
I'm not religious no more, I'm off the cuff. Off to learn new things, I'm on a bus. Walking to my dreams in a tux. Everywhere I go is kingdom come. Dadgum, my inheritance so long that it causes conundrums. Wanna understand what I stand on. Yo, it's a brain blast, Jimmy Neutron, yeah. Don't need a mic to drop it, don't need a space to rock it. Don't gotta click the copy, I got it. They call me a pastor prophet, a prophet. I can't knock it, I can't stop it.
Good evening, and welcome to the Creators Podcast. But before we get started, dearly beloved, we are gathered here in the Tucktown, in the sight of God, in the presence of family and friends who join together, the creators and his viewers, in holy matrimony, which is commended of St. Paul to be an honorable estate, institute of God, and therefore is not to be entered into unadvisedly or carelessly, but reverently, joyfully, and in the love of God, into this holy estate, us two, we Y'all, us together, present comes now to be joined. We have AJ the Sheriff of Music, Coach Me, Mariah who's on fire, Camille who keep it real. We've been married to you at this moment. So with no further ado, Coach Me, it is up to you.
You know what? It took me a second because I was trying to figure out where we was going, but then I remembered that our topic for today, we talking about being young and married. Boom. Just in case y'all didn't get it, because I just got it. Wow. Well,
Took forever.
good evening.
I was like, where were you at?
So, as AJ so eloquently divulged, we're in this holy matrimony together with you, our viewers, this evening, because we're going to talk about holy matrimony
2020.
in 2020, especially being young and married. Look, we're not going to go look. Never mind. Anyway, so especially being young and married in 2020. So, first of all, did you know that being young and married is a thing? Yes, it is a big thing nowadays, more than not.
More than not.
More than not. Did you also know that a lot of people who are married young also get divorced before the age of 30? Yes, that happens as well. You wonder why, don't you? We'll talk about that in a second. Did you also know that the main reasons that people end up getting divorced were because of lack of commitment, infidelity, conflict, and arguing? And there's also the final straw, the conflict and arguing, but the final straw also being domestic violence and infidelity for some people. So obviously there's some for real reasons why people get divorced. There's also some, not so decent reasons why people get divorced or even why they get married in the first place. But we're about to dive in and take it and run with it. Why? Because we want you to know that as a young person, you can be successful and be married. Just because you're young and married doesn't mean that you have to be divorced by the age of 30. So we're just going to talk about some stuff. We're going to give you some tips on how to keep going and keep pushing, ways to keep pushing. And then we're going to debunk some stereotypes tonight too, because
debunk.
Yeah, I like that word, debunk.
Get off the bunk bed.
Debunking the stereotype. So, who would like to take it away? What is it like? We'll start. Hold on. I got it.
Okay.
So, what is it like being young and married? And Mariah?
Oh, that's a mic?
Thank you.
We should start doing that. Like every time we talk, we like pass
grab
it.
the mic
and grab. So, excuse me. What is it like? All right, so me and AJ, we got married when we were 20 years old. We just had Nyla, and no, everybody always said that you got married because you was pregnant and whatever. No, definitely did not.
I'm like, nah, nope.
But yeah, so we have met when we was in college. We was both young.
She asked me to teach her how to dance.
Shut up, we're not telling this.
Well, she asked you to what?
Nothing.
She asked me to teach her how to dance.
Oh,
That was
wow.
the no, but
Hey,
no. That was we
We
had a class together. We had a class together, first off, and like I saw he could dance really good. I'm like, I can't do hip hop. Like y'all know that I'm not a hip hop dancer at all. I can't dance really, but I can pretend like I can a little bit. But I saw him dancing, and he was like by himself. I was not starstruck. He was by himself, and like I went down to him, and I had asked him, I'm like, can you teach me how to dance? That was like the very first thing I said to him. I I said, hey, can you teach me how to dance? Like, in my head, because you know that stereotype where all dancers are like, all male dancers are gay, I really thought he was gay when I first saw him. So I didn't think nothing of it. Oh yeah, I'm doing this.
Okay, look, we get to the nitty gritty here.
Okay, but it was dance class. You know, it's a stereotype. I've never seen him before that day.
Was he in tights?
No, definitely not.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, why you got that vibe? I was like,
no, I've seen like some like big muscular dudes like who got the tights on, whatever, and everyone thinks that they're gay, but I was like, no, this dude ain't gay.
See, what's his name?
Like, yeah, I mean, I know Detroit, but I'm still trying to figure out why.
Anyway, so like we started like hanging out like more and other stuff, and then we got like super close, and we became like really close friends, and we just like used to hang out like all the time, and one thing led to another, and yeah, we ended up getting married like a couple of years later, like after a year of knowing each other.
Well, how long did y'all know each other before you got married? You said, like you said, a couple of years.
Probably about a year.
Like a full college year. So like we met that summer, and then
we made it official like December 2013.
Yeah.
And then got pregnant in like January, and then Nala was born 2014, and then 2015 we got married. So we was like 20 years old when I had Nala, we got married.
Yeah. That's dope. I'm not.
Yeah. But like, yeah, it was funny because like we was like fully not aware of ourselves, so we just like jumped into like marriage, and not saying it was a bad thing. Like for us, not everybody can do that, but it was just like we were still trying to discover ourselves, and we was living our own lives before that, and then dropped everything.
So did people give you all flack for getting married that young?
Huh?
Did people give you all flack?
Some of our college friends did.
I would say more people our age gave her slack than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially like my homies and stuff, because you know I was out there. So
very out there.
Like, you sure, brother? You sure you ready to settle down now?
Right. And I was like, yo, I'm not gonna lie. I was out there. I was getting my body count.
You still got life to live. You just still have time.
Right. I was all about body count at the time, but it was more. And then it's like it was weird because the reason why we didn't get married right when she got pregnant with Nala, because I felt like we was getting pressured from the parents, like you know, having kids. So I was like, no, I'll be cool with just being a baby dad, you know. It's like I don't need to be husband and all that. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna be a deadbeat. So that's the outcome. Because like I'm not gonna lie, man. Like I give out that vibe. If you just see me and if you don't know me, you just look at me and you think I'm just straight up like a husband person or whatever. But I'm not. That's just how I dress. That's me. But so
and now look at you with your shirt on.
Right? Look, the whole 360. No, that's going back around. 180. A whole 180. There we go.
Look, he said a whole 360. Never mind.
But when it comes to bit like with the flat, it's more just people around our age. For us, it was more people around our age saying, "Are we doing it too soon?" Because like we're 20, like we just not having our lives. Like we just left our parents' house type vibes. Like you already get married? Like no, why? And then with Nala in the mix, it was almost seemed like, oh, follow that stereotype. Somebody got pregnant, y'all gotta get married, you know, to make this right. I was like, nah, like it's new, no, we don't have to do all that. But so it's just that was more of that vibe on it. But what about you guys? I mean,
dude, man, I got so many questions for y'all right now, but I'm like, okay.
We go back and forth. But I definitely want to hear from the Taylors.
Well, give me the mic. Okay, there. She got the mic.
I grabbed it.
Bitch, she grabbed it. She grabbed it. I got it.
Now you listen. You better not say nothing inaccurate right now. Otherwise, we're gonna have some problems after this podcast.
Sit down. Let her talk. Look at her face. She's not having it with you.
So with that being said,
Try
and now we're no longer meeting. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. But let's see. So okay, how old are you? I forget how old.
They can't hear you, baby.
How were you when we met? I forgot how old you were when we met. He's 2 years younger than me. I'm
Okay, Seth got a cougar too.
Oh my God!
Oh, okay, I remember.
When I was chasing her, she was too slow. So I'm scared.
It is not a cougar.
She could probably
It's a
outrun
Cougar.
the bobcat.
Oh, okay, sorry. We got bobcats, Seth.
Okay, but I'm not.
We got bobcats.
He's only 2 years younger than me, so I think I was 24 when we like started talking. That would have made you like 22.
Really?
Yeah. Wasn't it my 25th birthday? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dang.
Yeah. So he called me like 25 minutes before my 25th birthday to tell me everything that he liked about me when we were dating.
I did.
So that happened.
That was my way in.
So we got married in. We got married in 2018.
Yep.
Which I feel like we've been married a lot longer than that because I tend to forget when we got married. It hasn't even been 2 years yet, guys, and I keep forgetting. That's so sad.
Like it feels like it's been like so.
But
it was like, damn, that's crazy. No, because like I feel like that there's been so much that's happened, like in our relationship and around our relationship in the past 2 years that it feels like we got some miles on us already. But that's not the case. We're still very green.
Yes.
We're like little babies in this game.
So,
Y'all been married for 5 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was right.
Yeah.
So you made me lose my train of thought.
Oh, sorry.
So as you can see, this is how we interact often. But no, so yeah, we got married in 2018, and like I don't know, like getting up to that point, it was very rocky road for us. So like we met at a Lecrae concert, and he didn't even know who I was. He knew the person that I was with. And then like I told him, I was like, oh, I think I'm friends with you on Facebook. And then he was like, no, it's probably not me, it's my twin brother. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then the next thing you know, we're like friends on Facebook, which right. I guess isn't normal for him. He doesn't typically like friend people on Facebook.
More specifically, I don't typically friend women that I don't really know on Facebook. As far as like, oh yeah, let me get your Facebook. Like I didn't normally do that for whatever reason. At that moment, I was like, yeah, sure. Here
Look, it was a business venture for me, and it worked out because then
I was a business venture for you.
Everybody I friended on Facebook at the time was a business venture because my whole goal, I was like, okay, I was doing like Lyft. Look, watch. We're gonna get back into it because I was doing Lyft, remember? And so that's pretty much. I posted on like Facebook. I was like, hey, does anybody need a Lyft? Because like I'm just kind of doing stuff off on the side or whatever. And so then this fool hits me up and he's like, yeah, I could use a Lyft. And so then I was like driving him to work and stuff. And so
then we got to talking.
Right. Then we started talking about Jesus. Praise the Lord. Like that's it.
Right. So no, because okay, so she was just coming out of a. I wasn't even
coming out. I was still in.
Right, but I was bringing you out. Okay, so she okay. At the very moment, she was in a. Can you say a toxic relationship? Would you call it that?
Yeah, I would call it.
Okay, she was in a toxic relationship. I was just coming out of almost being married to somebody else. So I was actually engaged to a whole other person before Mishi. Some people don't know, but for the people who do, y'all remember how much that stuff got crazy. And so I was dealing with a lot of pain and hurt, and she was actually in the midst of something already. And so because we started hanging out on the lifts. So I was going to work wherever we started talking about all we've been through. And I remember homeboy came on one of our little Lyft rides because he was like, who was this fool that you picking up at freaking 11 something? Because I was working a night shift. So she was coming to my house all late. And he was like, nah, man, I'm going with you this time. And then like, it was the first time that I hopped in the back of the car. And like, I was like, hey brother, what's up, man? He was like, oh, I ain't talking.
So awesome. Right?
I was like, oh my god. And
so
that thing was
so awkward. Like
was
that
like-
was like awkward.
And I wasn't even really like trying to do nothing at that time. Like I was just chilling.
You supposedly didn't like me. Whatever. I don't care. Because we're married now. But
I never said I didn't like you. I never said that.
See, he doesn't even remember what he said. It's only been 2 years, guys. But so obviously, like we had our little rough patches. Like we would have times where we were like, yeah, we're gonna talk, we're gonna do this, and then we're like, no, I'm not gonna talk, and like split ways and then like not talk to each other, but then run into each other all of a sudden. So it was like really, really back and forth. And then like I don't know, it's a lot. We had a lot. We'll be here all day if we go through that whole story. Right. But granted, I think now, just like relationship wise, definitely like the little rough patch that we went through, because we had like legit broke up and like weren't gonna even like get married or talk to each other at all anymore. But I think that rough patch that we went through actually helped us and prepared us for being able to be married. Because obviously a lot of people think that marriage is all like kicks and giggles. And it is. It's a lot of kicks and giggles. There's a lot of kicks and giggles. But at the same time, there's also like stuff that you have to go through. And it's not always gonna be the kicks and giggles. Sometimes you gotta like put on that straight face and that hard hat and be like, all right, we gotta handle business. And so now I feel like that little rough patch that we went through like kind of helped us to be able to handle business.
Right. Now the whole other aspect of this thing is that she had a kid. You know what I'm saying? She had Manny. And so that was a whole other aspect of like kind of the decision process for me. I was like, okay, like if I get married to this girl, I'm gonna become a husband and a father all in one day. I was like, am I ready for that? You know, and no, because like I remember like specifically, she asked me. Sorry, some people are walking in the house right now, but she asked me straight up. She was like, okay, so what do you think about becoming like Manny's dad? And like I straight up told her, I was like, I know I would love to. Like, I know I have the heart to do it. Like, I know that I could be good at it. But I'm gonna tell you straight up, I need some time to think about it. And like, she was like, now in her mind, she was like, well,
I was like, you don't want to be with me.
Yeah. I know she like took it completely like not what I said. I said like, yo, let me like not just answer this with a quick yes or no, especially a quick, like, I told her like, I was like, if I were to answer that really quick and said yes, absolutely, then in your mind, that should have been a red flag, because that's showing that I wasn't really praying about it or really thinking about it, you know, because that's what most dudes would do is, oh yeah, girl, of course, I'm on board. Like I was like, no, like once again, I have a heart to do it, but let me check, let me like really like think about it or whatever, because if I was going to do it, I was going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't going to have do it or whatever. And so that was a whole nother aspect of that. And so, and like me and him would like freaking hang out, like when she was out of town, when she was on her deployment or whatever, like me and him would like literally like go hang out. So I was already developing that relationship before we actually made our decision or whatever. And so it was a little scary though. Like I was like, okay, like, things can go south. And all of a sudden, like, cause I'll feel bad for like being in this boy's life and then like hopping out because we didn't work out. Because I was like, I didn't want him to feel like the only reason why I was around because, you know, his mom or whatever. And like, that wasn't the case at all. And so there was a whole lot of that stuff as well. And so it definitely took a lot of, I don't know what the word is, but I don't know, like, yeah, it took, it took huevos. We'll say that. We'll take huevos.
Look, just say it. We're being real on this podcast.
All right, it took some balls to make that decision. But not just for me though, but for her too, because she's trusting me to take that role or whatever. And yeah, and so yeah, so it was just crazy. And so and also like her family, you know, them being protected or guarded over her and Manny, it was like that was a whole other thing too, because it's like I wasn't trying to be like just like another dude, you know, just coming in and saying I'm gonna do all this stuff, but never like actually fulfill it or whatever. And so it's freaking crazy. I think you want to say something, sir? Come on in. He's over here.
What you're trying not to say is that I wasn't playing around.
Right. He wasn't
about my grandson.
Right. He
said family. I was the threat. You don't mess with my grandson and be playing that game. So no.
And so I remember very specifically, like it was yesterday, me and his conversation, the whole what do you call it? Shoot. Asking for the blessing conversation. We were at Starbucks and he was over here walking with a cane because like something was happening with his leg. And so he looked like a freaking mobster. He was all sitting down there with the cane. And he was like, so you gonna ask me or what? I was like, well, for another coffee? No, I was kidding. No, so I was like, what do you mean? And like, he was like, you gonna ask for my blessing or not? And I was like, oh shoot. Well, I wasn't prepared. I wasn't like ready to ask yet, but I was like, you know what, man, yeah. So we did all that. And so, yeah, so anyway, we're gonna pause. Camille, now you are an interesting factor into this conversation. Now I want to hear what you're thinking right now. What do you think about all also that we're saying? Here you go.
I'm because I'm young, popping, and thriving, or what? And single.
Hello, the mic.
So you gonna get the mic or?
What?
I'm young, popping, single, and thriving. So that could be interesting, I guess.
I like that. That'll be our next one. Young popping.
It's like a gazelle in the middle of the jungle. Okay, so what I'm thinking. So my question, there's two very separate scenarios here. There's one where there is a child between the two, and then there's a child that is adopted and taken on between the two, right? And so being on both sides, having a single mother, but also to like having someone who took me as their child after, anyway. But I wanted to ask Seth real quick. Did you actually Mishi, as a mother, right? But as a mother, as a young mother, right? And then also one that's walking into wanting to be married to somebody, like what was your biggest like fear behind that? And then also too, what was your expectation? Like, and has it been exceeded?
Ooh, mercy. Okay, I'm curious.
That's a loaded question.
I'm curious.
It kind of is. Pew pew.
That's a loaded question. Well, very good question. You like how I dropped the mic later?
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't know. It's a trend. Anyway.
So I think that like for me,
she's really talking.
I wasn't like real talking to stop anyway, but for me it was a lot because there was like this part of me that like I wanted to be married because like being a single mom is not easy. It's a lot of work, and especially like because again like my I wasn't getting any support from dad either, so it was just like it's just me and my family, and it's like okay, I want to be able to be loved by somebody, and I want somebody to love my son. And so there came a point in like my life where I almost like gave up on somebody loving me and just wanting them to love my son, because like at the end of the day, like it was more important for my son to be able to have like for me, this is how I felt, that I wanted him to be able to have like somebody in his life that was there for them, regardless of like how they, like, okay, cool, if they liked me, that was enough. But like I was like pretty much ready to forfeit like what I wanted. Just to have somebody, and then just like as long as they love my son, like that was like my biggest thing. And so obviously like that put me in a lot of bad situations, had a lot of like verbally abusive relationships that I was in, or just like abusive relationships that I was in because of that type of thinking, because then it's like, oh well, they like my son, but it's like at the end of the day, if the person doesn't love me, like they're not gonna love my son. Like that's just point blank period. But I just had this misconception that, it could be a thing. So obviously whenever I got married to Seth, it was like, again, him being like, oh, I don't know how I feel about your son. That was like my first thing I put out there. I'd be like, look, I have a kid. So if we're gonna talk, I just need you to know that I have a kid, because I'm not gonna waste time like playing games. I'm not in a game playing mode. Like trying to have a commitment with someone for a long time. So I told him that. I was like, look, just so you know, like I have a kid. So either you want to be with me or you don't want to be with me, but just know I have a kid, and that's gonna be there. And so whenever he said like, oh well, I gotta think about it, I literally took that in the worst way ever.
She wasn't hearing what I was saying.
No, I wasn't.
I was dropping gems. I was like, look, hold on, girl. I
was like all up in the dome. I was like, look, okay, then obviously you don't want to be with me if you got to think about it. Like, you don't know this. Like, we've been talking all this time and you don't know this yet, or you haven't thought about it yet. So for me, I was just like, you don't make no sense. So we can just nix this and leave it alone. But I gave him a chance to redeem himself, obviously. But like, I'm just messing with y'all. But ultimately, I think like with my expectations, like he has 100% exceeded my expectations, gone above and beyond, like answered the call of duty. But no, like definitely. Again, there's some areas where I'm like, okay.
Oh, we have visitors.
Oh, is Manny popping in? Yeah, there's some like areas with him, with their relationship, that I be getting mad. I'm not even gonna lie, guys. I get a little salty sometimes because I'm like, they be spending more time together than me and him spend time together. You know what I mean? I be getting a little salty. But then at the end of the day, I have to like check myself and be like, no, like this is a good thing, because like the fact that they're building this relationship, like he's just coming into his life after what, like seven years of like, not having that father figure. And so being able to be okay and at peace, but like still have a balance too, because you don't want to like overdo it either. So
I'm gonna make a point right here, because I feel like this is also kind of part of what we're talking about here is like so I'm gonna mention one thing that we do, but then AJ and Mariah, I want y'all to think of something that y'all do. Like, what are like some systems, or what is like some of the culture that you guys have developed in your marriage in order to keep it flowing? So for example, she mentioned that I hang around Manny a lot, but so literally our weeks are scheduled out almost like to the T now. So it's like, for example, one Friday, me and Manny will stay up and play video games, kind of hang out, just me and him. But then the next Friday, that's me and Misha's date night. And on Thursdays, that's our family night. We're supposed to be playing video games. Right. Right. So Thursdays are our family night. And so like we have like these certain things, what was I looking for? Intentional like schedules or whatever,
time blocks,
like time blocks for specific things, and so that actually helps us to kind of keep our family aspect or our family culture going, whatever. So it's not like I'm spending too much time over here or I'm spending too much time over there, or like we're like it's all jacked up and like all out of balance or whatever. So what are those type of things, and like what do y'all do in order to keep you guys boat afloat as far as that goes?
So because we have 4 little kids, we only trust like maybe 2 people to watch them. So we go based off of their schedule. Like over the weekends, my mom have been really good with like getting them. She'll get them Friday night and then keep them the whole night. But this weekend she had to work, so we got the weekend with the kids, right, which is fine. We usually when we do have the kids, we usually do like family time over the weekend. So during the week we work, and when we get home, we be too tired to do anything. But I know like last night it was so funny because we just started like this new game. I don't play the Xbox, but he likes playing it. So I found like a game we both can play, and that's what we've been doing, like playing the story mode. Cause you have to have 2 players. Like you can't play it by yourself. You have to have 2
I got bamboozled. I really sorry.
What game? What game is it?
What is it? A Way Out. A Way Out.
I heard of that one.
So I got bamboozled because I saw it. I'm like, oh, bet, let me play this game. And then when I tried it, they were like, you need another person. I was like, come on.
But we finished the story mode, so that it was like we start like a project together, then we try to like take time out to finish it. So that was fun. Like, last night we spent like 2 hours finishing up the game.
Honestly, and then it was crazy about it. That actually helped us with communication. Like, because with that game, you both had to actually do something in order for you to go to the next part. So like, it helped because like I suck at communication. I don't like talking. Like if you call me on the phone, not that kind of conversation is gonna be us listening to. I'm like, you gonna have to spark this. Like I don't really talk that much unless it's like there's something.
But you've been getting better though.
Yeah, I get better.
Yeah, you're getting better.
Back then it was like 99%. If you didn't come with questions or whatever you have to talk about, this conversation is not gonna go far. But now I'm able to hold conversations more. But recently it's like I'm more because I'm always like I'm an outgoing person, but I won't initiate it. It's like I gotta know you, I gotta be cool around you, and then boom, I'm fun to hang around. Or because I'd like to be by myself, but I'm an outgoing person. I love hanging around people, having fun and stuff. So like now we're doing like family outings. It's like I used to hate it when we first started off. Like every time
it was because the kids were younger, so it's like car seats and buckling up and getting them out.
But they can't stand up and
run around.
Like we have a freaking carry them everywhere. Yeah.
Oh, and that stroller. Oh my god.
We got double
it's not a family outing. This is a drag, literally.
Yeah. So it's like when it comes to the marriage part, because with the kids, hey, you, so it's like when it comes to the marriage part, when we like working ourselves out, having fun with ourselves, it's like we gotta wait till the kids sleep or whatever, or they're gone. So, but
we did we do a lot. We've been doing a lot of traveling though.
But the best part about it is when it comes to the marriage part, and you have little ones. That's pretty much you like they can't take care of themselves at the moment yet. So the best part about it is like we're learning each other's nuances or buttons that press because these kids gonna be pressing all your buttons. So they're like with your kids already pressing your buttons, and then your significant other come in and try to the help. Like with Nyla's schooling, I've been telling Mariah this all the time. Like if she got homeschooled, she gonna fail. she ain't gonna make it with me just doing it. It's like because my patience is like right here. It's like because I know the answer. But this is the first time doing it. It's like I can teach dancing, okay, but you want me to teach math and all that? I'm not a teacher because of education. Like I know the answers. I'm real good at math, but like,
boy,
she's not. Bro, I see 4 + 1. I'm like 5. She's like, yeah. So it's like the best part about being young, because we're learning each other new. So she knows like, all right, hey, let's tag team. All right, you go ahead and take a break. It's like. So having that, being young and married is like, I noticed there's like family members I know that's older and stuff. It's like they're already like we're past this phase. So now when there's like a small thing or somebody getting agitated, it's like they just looking at each other like, okay, man, you get over it. It's like, but when we were younger, it's like you can't. We're not at that point yet where we can just get over it because it's gonna bother us. So that's what I like about it. With us, it's like having the younger ones help find those things that will bother us instead of taking years and we're getting 15 years into the relationship and then finally the one issue got exposed finally. Then instead of having to deal with that later, when people like when you get older, you just don't like deal with it no more. Instead of now. So it's like it helps out a lot. Because like there was a lot of issues I didn't know I had to these kids.
Oh my goodness, AJ. Man, let me tell you, bro. I tell you this, man. Marriage is so far thus far in my life. Marriage has been amazing. Marriage has been like the biggest mirror. Like I did not know all the freaking issues that I had until I got married. But not even just issues, but even some of my strengths. Like I didn't know I was good at certain things until now. But I'm gonna pause that real quick. What? Oh, I'm gonna pause that real quick. And so the topic is marriage in 2020, right? Or young marriages in 2020?
Young married couples.
Oh. Well, I mean, like what I like to.
Well, why are you pausing the topic? What were you gonna say?
No. I want to hear like what y'all think about like marriage in today's time, like in 2020, because I know like when we like I think like the first month we were married, like literally we had like 5 friends who were our age who are married, and like we saw all these people getting divorced like all around us. It felt like in a week's time frame, other young couples who are our age who are married like started falling off like flies, and like it made us like a little nervous. We were like, dang, it's gonna be us like in the next week. Like, what's going on right now?
Where they at? Cause we ain't seen no.
Well, where y'all at?
No, we ain't seen no.
Y'all ain't seen no divorces?
Look, here.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like they were there. No, they're not.
Well,
know.
Look, I remember when we first got married, we was going to Grace Temple. No, it felt so we felt so like odd and out of place because like we was in the young adult. We're literally the only.
It feels like a lonely club.
Right, like when they had the marriage, like because they had like these little marriage brunches or whatever. Bro, we was when I say the youngest. The next people there in age was grandparents. Like, yo, I wanted to go home so fast. I'm like, man, forget this.
I have a question.
Wisdom, wisdom there, but.
Well, then I have a question to that. Is that like, well, okay, let's focus on the question that you said, right? What do I think about 2020? I'm gonna go from the dating standpoint. It's ghetto. Period. Like seriously, it is not based upon. It's literally all about sex, and it's not about foundation. And so people who have marriages now, like, hold on tight, because if you thinking to get up out of that thing, figure out how to make it work, because you're gonna have some stories and some fails and trails, okay? But nevertheless, like, just marriages generally now I feel like are based upon feeling and emotion and not real thoughts, and not actually looking to what comes into marriage, right? And so that's also presenting yourself like you said, it's a mirror, right? You're trying to figure out who you are, all those type of things. I think that's the greatest thing about being single too, in the sense, I'll slide it over just the marginalized over here a little bit, is that you do have the opportunities to like, fail, pick up, learn yourself more, be comfortable, if you're not comfortable, get to be comfortable, so that you can get all of those kinks out before you are. And I'm 35, so I got a little bit more age on the rest of us in here, just a little, but I know that at least
a lot.
But at
a little. Thank you.
Anyway.
Finer
wine, okay? But it gives you the opportunity to kind of work out yourself. And I think a lot of people hop into marriages thinking that, oh, we're supposed to go in 50-50 and that's going to make a unit, you know? And the whole point is to make a whole, is to be one whole person and another whole person coming together. And I think that's where a lot of divorces, because they can't handle the weight of their past. They can't handle the things that they didn't address as like, oh, when I was a child, or any of those things. So those things come up in marriages, and a lot of times they're counteracted, right? So the little kid in this person meets the little kid in this person, and because neither one of them have addressed the childlikes in themselves, or at least caused the healing in that area, then they bring everything that they knew. I think that or what they know, right? And I just think that's the biggest part about the marriages now. They happen very quickly based upon emotion and sex and all different kind of things, and not really about. Some people have gone through the struggles, the worst of the worst, of like losing their child or anything like that before they even get married, a young thing, or have had losses in their families that actually brought them closer, or, you know, they've had traumatic things that draw people closer, but it's ghetto. That's all I can say. Like, it's.
So two things. So I know you're saying the whole 50-50 piece. So as you were saying that, I thought to myself, I said, because I know there's stuff that I've addressed. There's pretty much like everything that I've ever done Seth knows about. Like, I've pretty much laid it all on the table because I was like, look, I'm just that person. I'm very, very straight up 100. I'm like, I'm gonna just give it to you as it is. You just gonna know. But even with that, whenever you get married, it's not even that the children meet each other. And then, you know, if you don't work things out ahead of time, it's more or less that you're in another terrain. So it's like you're you in a totally different terrain. And so now you have to manage not just the stuff that like you're dealing with, but it's somebody else. And then like I know myself, I can walk through, let's say, okay, I'm walking through a forest and I know that if I see this, I'm gonna book it. That's a given fact. Now I'm walking through the forest with Seth. And now that I see this thing, I can't necessarily book it. So it's like I have to react differently because it's a different situation. I have somebody else now. And so like when you were talking, it just kind of made me think of that. And then the other thing too, when you said 2020 marriages, it reminded me of the other topic that we had on there, which was, hold on, wedding cost and relationship loss. Because people are so ready for the hype. They just want the hype of getting married. They just want I want to have a big wedding and I'm gonna have my white dress and I'm gonna have like 12 bridesmaids and they're gonna look like this and we're gonna get this big old ring and da 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 da. And it's like all the glam and bam that comes with the wedding, not realizing that the wedding is probably, like, let's be real, the wedding is probably the least important part of a marriage. Like, let's just be 100%. Most people that have weddings end up starting their marriage with a lot of debt if they didn't plan appropriately before they got married. And then that comes to the whole, now we're getting divorced because we no longer have any money after we just spent $10,000 on a wedding. Help me, Jesus. There are people who do that and it's okay.
For a day. I'm like, why?
One day. Like, granted, don't get me wrong. I want to have my wedding still. Because
tell them what we did.
We got married on a mountain. We just went to Mount Lemon. 2 weeks, had 2 weeks, called everybody, said, hey, meet us up on this mountain, we get married. And that was that. Like, met us
and
on
that
Mount
wedding
Lemon.
was fire.
It was free.
Can I just say that real quick?
Don't get me wrong, it was fire. It was a fire wedding and it was free.
I lost my voice.
But like, there's still that inside part of me where I'm like, man, I do still want to I want to have a reception or something because it's just neat. But even with that, I feel like it'll mean more doing it later on in our relationship now that getting grounded opposed to doing it at the beginning. When you do it at the beginning, you're not grounded. But unless you've been dating for 10 years, and even then. So.
So Aaron is joining us. I just wanted to say, he says, yes, do people even get marriage counseling anymore?
Right there.
Yeah, we do. Well,
most people do not.
No, that's the thing.
I mean, yeah, go ahead, Mariah.
Yeah. I was about to say, I think that was one of our downfalls was we waited till after, a couple of years after to actually get marriage counseling. And I do think that was one of the things that kind of struck us. But at the same time, we was young, there's a maturity level at the same time. Obviously if you're 25, 26, then you should be able to know yourself or whatever. But if you're 20, you fresh from college and fresh coming out of your mama house, you still discovering yourself. You in college, living your life and stuff. So that's one of the things that I do. It is a maturity level that comes with entering into a marriage, no matter what age. So I've noticed that a lot too. The younger you are, the more it's just you're just doing it just for the hype and stuff. And I have noticed that even on TikTok, there's a lot of people getting together and stuff, and then all of a sudden they breaking up because of this and that and stuff. I'm like, oh, so that sucks.
Yeah, I was.
What are you getting married for?
So, what y'all think? So I feel like a lot of people don't get marriage counseling before they get married because they don't feel like they're not secure in the relationship enough to feel like they will survive marriage counseling. So they feel like it's more of a threat than an asset. And so for us, it felt like our parents were really our marriage counselors. They actually
sat down with us a couple times.
Yeah, on both sides and saying yo, what y'all doing and whatever. And so they actually were on board with us getting married in a 2-week time frame. But that was because we were already like well connected by that point, and like we were already like basically doing like we were just on that train already. And so they were like, man, y'all just need to make it happen.
Right.
And
what was it? We took time to talk to the elders. We talked to the elders.
So yeah, we tried to be intentional about being like, all right, like what the heck do y'all think we should do? Because we don't want to lose something good, and we don't want to jump into something, you know, just to rush into it or whatever. But yeah, so it's just like if you're in a relationship and you want to get married and you feel like you won't even survive the counseling, then you probably shouldn't get married. But if you feel like you know, if you both agree that like that's something that you want to do to improve upon what you already have going, then do that. Matter of fact, me and Mishi had we actually freaking got into counseling, not even for marriage. Like we were like a team just for like relationship. Like I remember we went to this lady. We forgot about that. My goodness, because we were going through it. Let me tell y'all, we were going through it, and we were tied up all of it or not. Whatever. Because like she said, I mean, she kind of just touched on it, but we were really hardcore going back and forth so much, and so like we literally got into a counseling session just to even like help us with our relationship, not even like marriage. I mean, it was that there was a topic of it, but that was even that as well, and that it helped a little bit. Like, and that's the thing with
if I would have been more willing,
yeah,
then it would have made a difference.
Yeah,
but because whenever we were in there, like I didn't want to be there. Mm-hmm. There was no getting through the wall that I had put up. It was pointless.
And that's the thing with counseling is that in my mind,
that's good.
The way I view counseling or whatever is that it's not the end all solution to everything. It's a tool. It is a tool to help you out and all kinds of stuff. And so people like kind of overhype it sometimes, and sometimes people downplay it. Like it can literally help a lot. But you know, it's just like that's what I look at anyway. But yeah.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Another one, a single question.
Like one question or like okay.
Both a single question and a single question.
Right.
So because we're coming to a place where we're going to be wrapping up soon and we want to leave time to open the floor for questions, but I take it back, I digress. 2 questions for the both of you, but each couple can answer it. So Mishi and Seth and Mariah and AJ. So Mariah and AJ, as my question is, what's the one thing that you would express to someone wanting to get married at a young age and then quickly, right? And then Coach, me and Seth, both of you guys can kind of answer this question. What's the one thing that you love then, but what is it that you are more in love with in your partners now than when you first started in marriage?
Okay. Oh, you can go first. I'm thinking.
Let's AJ and Mariah go with this question here.
Which one we answering?
What's the second one?
What are you?
What tips would you give somebody?
What tips would you give somebody wanting to get married? Because you guys technically got married at the youngest age. So what would you give advice in that room?
I'll be honest. Like, listen here, young fella. All right, listen here, young fella. I shut down the phrase for a long time. I said, that ain't gonna be me. I was like, I don't know what kind of message this is, but this message is true. A happy wife means a happy life. I tried to I was going against the grain. I was like, nope, I don't care. I was like, a happy life means I'm happy. Nope. So, as long as she's happy, then you will be happy afterwards. And to break it down, not to seem like she dictates it, there's more as the wife, she carries a whole lot for you that you don't even know. As when I say by that, I mean it's like she does so much for you behind the scenes that you don't even recognize that she's doing for you. and it's not physical, but more emotionally as well. So when you finally get older, because I'm like I said, we got married at 20. I didn't notice it till maybe last year. We 26. So it's like this is 5 years in. We having a whole bunch of problems, but I finally noticed it last year exactly what she does, not even physically but emotionally for me. That now I know, and then I put through all this stuff, but now I finally know what she does, and I'm making her happy. Now I'm happy because now I can do whatever I want because she's happy. So it's like it's not like you can't do whatever you don't want. It's more as long as you take care of her, she's gonna make sure you got your back and everything's taken care of for you. So then
we are here to enforce the crown. Yeah. I love it.
I'll be honest. I gotta be honest with you. As long as she's happy, you'll be happy.
Amen.
So I think
like that.
with mine, as far as the female's perspective, you need to make sure you love yourself before you try to go and hop into a marriage and try to love somebody else. Because I think that one of the things is that when you don't love yourself, you kind of let your guard down a little bit, and then you don't know what kind of person that you're trying to get into a relationship with, and they could be like some psycho, and you don't even know it.
That was a crap.
I think that's what.
Right. It's real life. Anyway, that's good though.
That's
Coach me and Seth.
You can go first.
What are you more? Aaron put it in a good way. What are you more in love with?
That way I can be.
Oh, so we're not doing the advanced one. We're more in love with. And there's a lot of things. I feel like there's two primary things that popped in my mind when you asked it. So like I said, before we got married, we're doing all this back and forth stuff. And so basically it was like we weren't doing what it took to make it work at that time. But since we've been married, I've noticed that Miji has done so many things to, like, she'll put certain objects or certain things in front of me that are meant and intentional to better our relationship. So for example, she'll be like, babe, we should read this book together about, marriage or whatever, like how to improve our marriage. And I'm over here like, oh, that's cool, we can do that. And then like, or whatever. And then she'll be like, babe, we should she even bought this book where like you scratch out this little thing for date nights. And so like, you don't even know what it is until you scratch it out. And then you read it, and then you get
the adventure challenge book.
The adventure challenge book. So like she loves those type of things that are intentional in building our relationship. And so those things I really do appreciate about her is that she's always trying to find these like new techniques or new tricks in order to keep us going or whatever. And even some other stuff that I won't even mention right now. But but she's always doing those things, but it feels like she's always on that. And so to me, like it shows me her intentionality about our relationship beyond, and so that's what's up. I really appreciate that. And so the other thing, well, I'll stop right there. You tell me what you think.
No, keep going.
You liking this?
Yes.
The other thing is that look, man, I've been in such a growth season, even before we got married, after we got married, and even now. And she has had a lot of patience for me. And so like, as I'm trying to figure some stuff out with me, and I won't go super deep into that, but I do appreciate that you, like, for one, haven't given up on me, on my stuff, but you actually leave room for me to grow. Like, I don't feel like I can't say that you nag me to grow. I don't feel that way. You I never felt her being like, it's like, boy, you better do this because like you don't do that. Every now and then you'll sneak in little stuff, but for the most part, you giving me room to grow as a man, and so I appreciate that about you.
You're making me emotional. Stop it.
I know. Now it's your turn. Hey, AJ, now she got to top that. Just kidding. No, but that's real though. That's all real, for sure.
Oh.
Sure.
Well, I think for you, I already know like I'm a whole handful and a half.
Facts.
So
Yeah.
I think mainly for me, it's just the fact that you've been able to put up with my foolery, and like honestly, that you let me be myself. I don't have to, you know, put on a mask. You know, I can just be my silly self when I'm around you, and that's always cool because I've always felt like in certain when I was in other relationships and stuff, I always had to like kind of put on a persona or like whatever. Like I felt like I couldn't for real be myself, or like I got like put in a box. But I just appreciate the fact that one, that you let me be myself, that you also indulge me in my new ventures whenever I have ventures for us to do, because I'm all about the ventures.
Yeah.
And
Let's
then
just wet on the floor.
not only that, but because you have so like of course you already know from beginning before we even started dating, I used to always tell everybody I was like, I want somebody tall, dark, and handsome, y'all. But I love the fact that he's not tall, light skinned, and handsome.
And I'm a little short.
And he has
I'm not.
eyes.
I am that short. Yes, that's right.
So I like
these right here.
To be honest, like I think initially, like I was more in love with like who you are. It wasn't even like your looks, but like now your looks have like won me over hardcore, 100%.
So at first you thought I was an ugly.
No, I didn't think you were ugly guy, but
he tried it anyway.
I was like,
you thought I was ugly.
He's okay.
Oh my,
he's okay. But you know, now I'm like,
yeah.
So yeah, no, that would be mine. That would be
so. Mine. What do you guys do to keep it fun? Well, obviously, fun in marriage, right? Adventures is Mishi's thing. The sheriffs.
We go on a date every other Friday night intentionally, and we got that little magic book I told y'all about.
That's why we're not on here every Friday, because we have date night on the other Fridays.
Yeah, we out. Right after we're out. Bye.
So it's from a single perspective, marriage is not a dreadful thing. It's a amazing thing too, right? Like
it'd be hard.
It's all about yeah, it's hard, but it's all about making sure that you're with who God created to be with you in order for you to walk out in life. And that's a major thing. You have fun, you become friends with you have a friend for life, basically. So how could you not have fun? And then you get this to have a person to look forward to great things, growth, children, accomplishments, and you have someone like you have your own personal cheerleader. And that's how I feel about marriage. Like I feel like I just want to be someone's best friend and personal cheerleader throughout life, and be able to like take those steps in a journey that is kind of like unknown, but have someone to do it with you. So that's pretty dope.
Yeah, and to that point, real quick, I'm gonna add this in there real quick. Like it's crazy because the way I look at, so when he said like we're like friends, right? So literally there's some times where like when me and Misha like go out somewhere, even like to like a store or something, like it don't even feel like I'm like even hanging around with my wife. I feel like I'm hanging around with like a friend, you know, like literally like in my mind, like I forget what the difference is, which I think is cool. You know, like I was like, oh yeah, snap, that's right. But like I think the times where I feel the most married, and not for the obvious reasons, but is when we're like alone in the room. And what I mean by that is that I see everything that no one else, that like I see the part of Mishi where no one else knows. And she's a part of me that no one else knows either. And so it's just like, and sometimes it's only for like 10 minutes like out of a day. Like sometimes it's just like those conversations, or like, for example, if she gets in an argument with somebody and she comes to the room, I see what all the after effect is. You know what I'm saying? Like, or if I go out and I do some kind of big accomplishment, whatever, like she sees how I feel, like how much I rest at that night because of what I did. You know, like so it's like those times whether it's like an hour or like a few hours or whatever, where we are able to see the vulnerable sides about us. That's like, to me, like the biggest part of marriage is when like intimacy. It's intimacy. It's like it's like I have a front row seat to her whole life, not just to, you know, who Coach Me is, or like when she's on stage, or whatever, like when she's at work. I see the whole picture, you know, and so it's like, but because of that, that's a lot of power too. Because like if she knows everything about me, you know, then I got
take it down.
So no, because like no, but straight up, like in reality, I gotta make this thing work because she has my number. You know what I'm saying? Like she, like that's what makes it heartbreaking to see people get divorced or whatever, is because it's like, dang, the person who knew me the freaking most doesn't want to be with me no more, or like the person who saw all my vulnerability, whatever, is now using it against me, you know. And so it's just like I think that's what makes marriage scary but exciting at the same time, because it's like, okay, all my chips are on the table, and so it's like, what are you gonna do with it? You're like, are you gonna take advantage of it? Because that will happen. Like even unintentionally, we'll take advantage of each other all the time. Sometimes it's intentional and sometimes it's unintentional. And so it's just like that's the risk that you take when you get married. And I think that's probably like the advice I'm trying to. I think I'm like subconsciously answering your question right now that they asked a while back. And so like that's my advice. Is like you like understand that marriage is not just about all the fluff. Marriage is not all about the money or whatever or what have you. Marriage is like a mutual risk that you're taking. Like literally it is a journey. And so it's like it's like if you feel like once you know that person for real, like when you're in the room, just with you two, if you feel any way that you're going to take advantage of that person or they're going to take advantage of you, then pause and think, you know, before you give them everything, think about what they've done with the little that you already given them while you guys were dating. You know what I'm saying? If they jack that up, then don't give them no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if they have matured you and grown you up just with the little that you gave them, then, you know, the rest is probably safe too. And so, yeah, anyway.
Wow, that was good. That was yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree with what you say, because yeah, it's like if somebody can't like appreciate the little bit that you give them, then it's not worth going all the way in, because they're just going to treat you the same. Like it's not going to get
it's not going to change just because you
right.
give somebody,
it's going to amplify.
It's going to treat you better.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no, I do, man. So like I really hope that everybody who like tuned in today, one, just thank you all for tuning in. Definitely seeing all the interaction on these posts. I got to give April a shout out because she was on here at the beginning. She threw some shade at you, AJ. I just want to let you know.
Oh, what?
She threw some shade.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, I saw it. Yep, acknowledged.
She was over there. But and Tiara hopped on too. Thank you,
cousin.
Aaron, for all the input. We really appreciate you hopping on with us as well.
Yep.
So just to everybody who hopped on, thank you. We appreciate you. Again, we hope that you are walking away with some for real takeaways from this evening's topic. We hope that us young married folk that are on the line this evening gave you some good nuggets. And even Camille coming through with these life nuggets too. We appreciate you, girl.
And if you know a young couple, give them a pat on the back. If they look like they're doing good, or even if they're not, give them a freaking gift card. Tell them to go on a date. Yes. Encourage that junk. Encourage it.
Yes.
For real.
Yeah.
Young
definitely need it, man.
people. And even for the older married people, like take some time to, and don't, like, it's so easy to be like, oh, they're young, talk down. But like, no, if they're married, they're married. Support them. Do what you can to help push them forward. Encourage them. Give them tips. Because like, even though it may not seem like we don't want it, like we want that. We want you to be able to say like, hey, this is what I did. Or here's something to look at. Even, and it can go both ways. Like you can find a lot of encouragement from younger people to older, and, you know, vice versa, because there's some stuff that we could be doing to help enhance your marriage and keep you married. So just throwing it out there. But yeah, like,
and young people need to be open to hearing it too from the older generation, because we tend to get in our stubborn ways about stuff. But be open from the younger side too, because there's definitely some things that are different about.
Brother. You don't.
Right.
Yeah, because the older generation, they come from rocking. When you talk about ride or die, okay, ride to live, okay, like they literally went through all of the ups and downs with each other in a whole different way, and they had way more kids than y'all. Just saying, they was rocking with 10 and 8 and 9, so it's like pay attention to that too. So
yes. And I think there was just one more thing. Oh yeah, don't be afraid to get marriage counseling.
Yeah,
Staring right at this.
And if y'all afraid,
then you need to more than likely take some time to reevaluate.
If you're scared, go to church. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
If you seek counseling, don't just jump into something blindsided, because when you jump into something blindsided, that's typically why situations end up in divorce. So you find out something about someone that you just never knew. Take those times to sit down with somebody else to help mediate and get you through them. And if you feel like you're wanting to get a divorce, go talk to somebody, go to counseling, try to work it out, unless it's just one of those situations where you need to leave and that's completely, it is what it is. But do your best to do anything that you can to keep your marriage thriving. So,
and from a single perspective, keep fighting and keep praying and believe that you deserve the best. That is for real. That's coming from a personal place. That's coming from a sister to sister, brother to brother, because it's always linked towards the females that they're not getting what they need, but there's men not getting what they need too. And just really start to take the time to really think about how you as a person can improve and be better, so that when you do come across that masterpiece and that God ordained unity, okay, that he is specifically creating for you, that you're prepared. That means making sure that you have somewhere to live, making sure that you have your own first, because we forget that we need to first be prepared on our side in order for it to be an even yoke. But we ain't gonna even go there. We're gonna talk about that later on the singleness.
Right.
But
guess what? The topic for 2 weeks from now is going to be successfully single. So that is what we will be talking about, being successfully single, because it is a process. We all were single once, and Camille is still single, but we're going to talk about what it takes to be successfully single and working your way towards marriage, if that is the goal that you want to accomplish. So again, we will see you all in 2 weeks from now. So in December, happy Thanksgiving, because we won't see you. Yes. So enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's right.
Happy birthday to Seth.
Hey.
So next time y'all see him, he's gonna be older.
And for all you brothers out there, we will be putting Camille's phone number in the chat just to let y'all know. Yeah. So just be prepared for that. All right.
On that note,
here it comes, brothers.
So cold. Yep. Jesus hit him with that stunner like he's stone cold. Then I raised from the tomb into some royalty that's rose gold. We gotta have your foot on the accelerator, going up. We gotta have your foot on the accelerator, going up. We came in with no reservation, came in with no hesitation, came in with no medication, but we left with all the validation in the room. Once I was done, we dropped the mic, then we dip like vroom.
Adios.
See y'all next time.